Honorable Adongo.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the motion for the Minister of Finance to borrow an amount of approximately 2.3 billion, 1 billion to support the budget, and about 1.6 billion for liability management. But, Mr. Speaker, my major concern is that Ghana is suffering from very high rising debt, and we are worried that this rising debt will create major problems for this country. Mr. Speaker, I have in my hand an occasional paper number 13 issued by the Institute for Physical States titled, "Does the 2018 Budget and Economic Policy Address Critical Challenges Facing Ghana?" Under paragraph 2.3 of this document, it makes allusion to the fact that after June, the borrowing of the state has brought about an increase in our public debt to about 151.6 billion dollars. It further makes a point that this creates a debt to GDP of 74%, and that is very worrying. Mr. Speaker, my question is, this means that we have added about 28.6 billion to Ghana's public debt in 1 year, and yet I have not seen a borehole constructed anywhere. I have not seen a school block being built. Mr. Speaker, to go onto the market to borrow is not a problem. The problem is, what are we doing to fast-track fiscal consolidation in order to ensure that we reduce the rate at which we are borrowing? Mr. Speaker, to do this will require that we adopt very effective, efficient, but a reasonable fiscal policy regime. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, we are running a fiscal regime that is regressive, a fiscal regime that reduces VAT for airline tickets to support the rich and imposes import VAT on bicycles for the poor. Mr. Speaker, we are running a fiscal regime that reduces the taxes on real estate sales, but imposes an import VAT on people who import concrete mixtures for masons to make their money. Mr. Speaker, in fact, instead of reducing prices or imports on raw materials in order to boost production, Mr. Speaker, we are actually going ahead to tax day-old chicks. So that when these day-old chicks are crying, we are still imposing import tax. At the end of the day, how can you raise revenue? How can you raise revenue to ensure that you reduce this rate of borrowing? Mr. Speaker, the recently withdrawn aborted import VAT include VAT on condoms. Mr. Speaker, you cannot grow this economy and get out of debt by engaging in this type of borrowing. Mr. Speaker, I would like to make the point. I would like to make the point that if we improve our fiscal management, we would make sure that we reduce this borrowing that we are engaging in order to save this country. But, Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Finance is very optimistic that the market is favorable because the fundamentals are showing that Nigeria and Kenya borrowed on a favorable terms. Mr. Speaker, in Nigeria and Kenya, banks are not collapsing. Mr. Speaker, in Nigeria and Kenya, their colleagues such as Buta and the importers are not on the streets. Yes. Mr. Speaker, you are issuing a panda bond in China. You are issuing a samurai bond in Japan. And you are using the rate of bonds not traded in this market as your benchmark. Are you aware that there's a looming trade crisis between USA and China? And that is the market we are going. And you are using bonds that are traded in other markets to determine your rate in the panda market. Mr. Speaker, it is quite clear that this government has lost the track. And we are now in very dizzy heights of fiscal incompetence. And if we don't address that, we will continue to borrow and borrow to no end. Mr. Speaker, my advice, and especially listening to my ranking member and the physical indiscipline that is about to take place, my advice is that I recommend to His Excellency the President and the Vice President to immediately convene a refresher course at Pedrassi. My good friend, my ranking member and myself are willing to come and teach you how to raise this money and manage the economy. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I